So happy you're here today. Um, so here we are in March already. Can't even believe it. And I just wanted to start out by saying I really appreciate that you're here and that you meditate with me and that we are able to work together, even though we're all in separate places. It's important for us to remember that what unites us is the energy between us. We don't always have to be physically in each other's space to be together and to make a difference. And that's really, really important, particularly in the times that we live in right now. You know, there are people all over the world and they feel all by themselves. And it's important is wherever you are to remember that we all have one another because we do this together, even if we're not in the same room. And even if you don't do this, you know what I mean by that. So today, when we do our three ohms, remember to do it from your heart so that every time that you do your ohms, you feel it deep inside of you. And to really just allow yourself to remember that ohm is the sound that we come from. Now, there's something to ponder on. If you don't have anything to ponder on this next month, you can ponder on Om is the sound in which we come from. Everything in the universe comes from Om. And it's all right, to don't focus on how well you're doing it or on the technique of it. Really, focus on your heart, not your physical heart that goes boom, 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 but your soul. So let us do three ohms together to unite us together in the same thought. Om. 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 And it's always good to pause for a moment so you can feel it vibrating through you. As we learn to be quiet after we om, it teaches us to remember that every single thing that you say during the day vibrates through your body. Every thought that you think, every word that you say, every emotion that you feel vibrates through your body. It affects your physical wealth. Yeah, it does, your physical wealth. Your physical health and well-being. I just put that all into one word. But it really does. Um, sound, sound changes things. It does. Sound creates things. It's the only thing that has the ability to destroy matter in any sort of sense or to create anything. Sound is this wave that moves through everything. It moves through us, moves through the planet, moves through everything. So to speak has to come from our mind. And remember, when I say this to you, the way that I've been taught about things is that the mind and the brain are not the same thing. Remember, the brain is a beautiful, complex organ in your physical body. The brain is affected by your mind. Your physical heart is affected by your mind. My hands moving, my brain is all the nerves are telling this, but how does the brain know to tell my fingers to do this? It's my mind. It's my mind. Everything that happens in the body happens from the mind first. This is what I'm about to talk about for just a few moments is much more complex than we have the time to really go through. So I'm saying these things for you so that you can ponder on them over this next month. So the mind is everything. The quality of our mind, the quality of our thoughts. It affects our bodies. And this is a very, very difficult thing to understand because we can see people who have terrible thoughts. They're very angry. They even might have violent thoughts. And we say, well, but they're not sick. And then we have this person over here who's lived a really high quality life and they're sick. So these things are like very, very deep to go into. So I'm bringing them up in the beginning because it's important for us to know that every day it's better to ponder on life, on the unknown that you see, than it is to draw a conclusion. Well, they're that way because they do this or because they don't do that. Well, see, that's what happens. No, I don't see that that's what happens. We have to remember that everything that we're talking about is really quite mysterious because spirituality can only be learned through our intuition. The powers of analysis, no. Am I putting the powers of analysis down? Oh, God, no, of course not. We learn everything through our intuition, and then it goes to the powers of analysis to formulate plans, understanding, to connect it to things that we remember. So we can begin to see patterns, not looking for patterns all the time. Well, I saw that over there, and that means this and that means. Let yourself learn to be really more quiet inside so that we can intuit vibrations that are moving through our body. When we really want to change a habit, has there ever been a habit that you wanted to change? No, none of you? Only me, probably, right? We all have habits that we want to upgrade or completely eliminate, uh, change, transform, all of these words. And then we try. We say, I tried, but it doesn't work. Then I tried this and that didn't work. And then I tried that and that didn't work. How does this happen? We try and it doesn't work. In order to change, really change habits, we have to establish a new habit to override the old habit. So if I have a habit of being angry every time I see the color pink. And it makes me angry. Every time I see it, I'm like, and that's my habit. And I'm like, oh gosh, I have to stay away from pink. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm staying away from pink, staying away from it. And then I see it. I think, oh, I've been trying to not let it have a reaction come inside of me, but there it is. See, I've tried. I can't overcome it. My mind is probably more filled with what I can't do more than what I can do, what I'm able to do. Negative habits stay inside of us and they talk to us. You can't overcome me, basically. I'm here. You think about me. You think about me. We think about the things that we don't want all day long. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see that person. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to see that. I don't want. Everything's about what we don't want. And you see how my hands are flinging and I'm putting energy into it. You can feel that uncomfortable energy. The more emotional energy that you put into your thoughts, the more likely they are to stay with you and manifest. So when we're trying to overcome something, trying even in itself is saying, I'm stuck. I can't move. I'm trying to get free. And I'm putting all my emphasis on my dilemma, not on my solution. Well, I don't know what the right solution is. I keep trying everything and there doesn't seem to be anything that works. You see how, again, I'm telling myself it isn't going to work anyway. It isn't going to work. No matter what I do, I won't be able to overcome this. It will always be with me. This bad habit will always be with me. And do I really want to let it go? Maybe, maybe not. The point here is to learn to be quiet, to learn to be quiet inside, to give ourselves a chance to overcome this feeling that the bad habit has over us. Let it move through us without interrupting it. Because as the bad habit, whatever it may be, I'm saying the bad habit, but it's thoughts that produce physical bad habits. So instead of like noticing, look, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. Oh, look, I can't stand it. I feel like I have to do this. It's a very hard thing. It's a very hard thing to be quiet. But once you start practicing more and more, you begin to crave the quiet inside. It begins to settle inside of us. And you want that. And it begins to tell you this is what you're looking for. You don't have to defeat the bad habit. You don't have to beat it up. You don't have to chop it in 1,000 pieces. We have to remove our attention from it onto something else that counterbalances it. Counterbalance, counterbalance, counterbalance. Bad habits turn into good habits. But first, we have to have the feeling of what it is that we really want. And if there's a bad habit that you have, that you think about, or that's a physical habit, the first thing is to cultivate a space inside of yourself so that you understand what peace feels like. Because if we don't know what peace feels like, it's very difficult to achieve a goal that you don't know what it feels like. So if there's a bad habit inside of you, it dominates and it makes you upset. It makes you crave something, it makes you miss something, it makes you angry, it makes you feel deprived, it makes you feel like this. You see, my hands are like staccato. But that's how it feels inside. You see how it's affecting my body just talking about it? But if you practice throughout the day, bringing yourself back into peace, bringing yourself back into peace, you are practicing a habit that can overcome all other habits that you consider to be bad. Because you have a place of reference. You have a place of reference of what it feels to have peace. Notice I'm not telling you any specific kinds of habits. It's the habits that overrun our mind and make our mind run and run and run and think really bad thoughts about ourselves, about our environments, about other people. And it's very hard to get out of that. Then you go on the internet and you're looking it up. Now you're concentrating here, seeing how bad it really is and seeing how bad it affects everybody else. How can you overcome it when you keep thinking about it? If I keep thinking about pink, and that's my bad habit, and I keep thinking about it and how much I dislike it or even hate it, it's hard for me to even use that word, or even hate it. You see, it's those words are so powerful that they are invaders inside of me and they keep me tied to the bad habit. They keep me tied there. I can't get free. It's like obsessive thinking, we could say. I try not to like use terms that we could get again fixated on. Because this whole point that I'm talking about today is the art of surrender. We've been talking about friendship, and we're going to talk about friendship throughout this whole year, and love. So this month, March, I'm giving you the word right now so you know where I'm going with all of this. Our word for March is surrender. Surrender is this very deep spiritual concept of letting go of our attachments to a perceived outcome. You see, we get very, very attached to whatever we're doing, and it has to look like this. I'm a perfectionist. It has to look like this. Well, I care about things. It has to look like this. Well, I want it. It has to look like this. You see, use different ways of presenting this. But what happens is we get very fixated on things, and everything becomes very narrow because it has to look like this, what's in between my two hands. But if my hands open up like this, all possibilities are there too. Sometimes we become narrow-minded because we think something has to look like this. We don't even know. We have forgotten how many other possibilities there are. Surrender teaches us to let go of that terrible feeling of attachment. In romance, when there's a breakup, whether it's a marriage or a dating situation, these feelings create terrible feelings of sadness, sorrow, even grief. I would say, of all the questions that people ask me about over these 40 some years, romance questions are the number one. Not just does he or she see me, love me, like me, but where's the one that's just for me? So many different things. So many different things. We get very attached, not to love. Love doesn't do this to us. Love doesn't make us have attachments. Love is pure. And it moves. It's constantly moving. It's already present in every single thing. It's completely present inside of you. But sometimes the absence of romance makes us feel that there's an absence of love in our life. And so sometimes we stay in a bad relationship because we think it's better to have that than nothing. I'm just sharing these thoughts with you that lots of people go through, and they come and go in varying degrees. But it's important that we have friendship with ourselves so that we can be there in our hour of need, really, when we feel unseen, undesirable, unloved, right? If I said to you, if you told me that you were feeling unloved, if I said to you, well, you have you would probably think I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying, or I'm not being sympathetic or understanding, or what you're saying to me isn't important. When we're hurt, it's always important to me. Feeling loved. We neglect it from the inside out. We're always waiting for it to come in. And this is a very bad habit, but it's a habit every one of us has. We forget that the power of love is always inherent. And it's not second best that you have you. And from that energy moves out. It's just knowing that isn't enough. It has to be practiced. showing up for oneself, having compassion for oneself, practicing peace within your own self. Maybe it'll attract to you that particular romantic love that you're looking for, or maybe not. But no matter what, you will have a higher quality of life by cultivating inner peace. I'm not saying to you, don't want romantic love. Not at all. Not at all. It's so beautiful. Why would I say that? But if you want more to give to your romantic partner, then you have to cultivate it within yourself. So friendship begins here, the word that we're focusing on for the whole year. Telling yourself that you can't break this bad habit of this or that, or nobody seems to see you or love you or anything. At some point, each and every one of us has to see ourselves and to learn to appreciate ourselves enough to take care of ourselves, which means to take care of the quality of our thoughts, to take care of ourselves, to make sure that we're thinking thoughts that are deeper than they were yesterday. So we can speak in a way that's deeper. It's not always shallow. I don't like this. I don't like that. What's happening here? Da 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 da. So that we're not argumentative, wanting people to know. But this is what I think. This is what I think. It's not easy to be unacknowledged. I kind of find it is easier, really, but I understand it's actually really not. You just have to consider what I do for a living. It's not something that everybody is happy to hear me say, which I don't tell people what I do for a living all the time. Hardly ever, actually. Makes people uncomfortable. I know that. But it doesn't make me feel like I'm doing something wrong or bad because it's inherent. And I have a relationship with my own beingness. Peace means everything to me. I would love to tell you I'm at perfect peace, but of course I'm not. I practice peace. It is a practice. There are so many people right now who wouldn't even know that peace is a practice. The word is bantered about in all kinds of ways, but you don't always hear practice of peace. We need peace, you know. We'll fight for peace. But do we talk about cultivating peace from the inside out? We want other people to be more peaceful. We want peace over there. We want peace in the negotiations. We want this to be. If these people are at peace, then we're going to be okay. No matter what happens to you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, you will always have you. You could never get away from you. You can get away of a lot, get away from other things, but you can't get away from you. It's like that old saying, wherever you go, there you are. But yet we are not cultivating that inner peace, giving ourselves some compassion and understanding, helping ourselves to empty out and be more calm. And it's not easy to be calm. Don't I know? So I say that too because of course it's not. We're around one another, and most of the people that we're around do not practice peace on a regular basis. It's not easy to be at peace in this world because most people don't understand that it has to be cultivated. It's not a gift. You can't give this as a gift and say, here's peace. Nope. But your presence can be peaceful. And that is a gift. As we practice peace, we become more peaceful. And wherever we go, that peace is there. And it can influence our situations. It's true. So our friendship with ourself creates better friendships with others, people we know, people we don't know. So I think I told you since I've been in this situation, I've learned so many new things about faith and freedom because I'm so confined. In fact, this morning I had a little bit of a just feeling. Sometimes I feel a little, it gets to me being confined like that. But I know it also keeps me upright. So I say this to you because my mantra, of course, over these last couple months, I have my basic mantra. I say basic in the sense of that, I always use ice cream for my examples. You know, there's vanilla ice cream, and then you can add anything to it, but you have to have a good vanilla in the beginning, good quality of ice cream. You can make it mango or rainbow, or you can do anything you want to it, chocolate, of course. But but no matter who you are, you want to start with this part of you that has to stay clean. The part of your mind that you're always wanting to stay clean so that you have peace. So I have my mantras, some mantras I've been using for decades. And but recently the one that I've been using the most is as I've been asking myself about faith and uh, going deeper into what does faith really mean. I don't do that like in an intellectual exercise, like, well, it means that, and some people think it's like this, and let's Google it, and da 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 da. Oh, that's fine. Don't get me wrong when I say it to you with that, my little. But ultimately, faith feels like peace. It feels like peace. So, like I've told you before, my teacher said to me, the only difference between him and I is that he knew he was God, and I do not. And that goes through my mind so many times. What does that mean? And so, of course, then it starts the intellectual exercise, but faith is not an intellectual exercise. It's an intuition. It's an intuition that you want it to stay there, an intuition that stays in you. It's abiding inside of you. So, since I've been in this situation, I've been helping myself to abide in that peace, abide in that faith. There is no difference between God and myself. And that takes me to I live in God. I live in God. I live in God, where all things are possible. I live in God, where all things are possible. And that has been life changing. So it takes away from the intellectual, I am God. What does that mean? I am God. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? What does that mean? Is that arrogance? Is that blasphemous? And what is that? Takes away from all of those kinds of feelings when you say, I live in God, because then it becomes there is no difference between God and the moon, between God and the sun, between God and our galaxy, between God and the entire universe, between God and space. There is no difference between God and those who harm. No difference. And that can only be intuited not analyzed. I'm not saying you won't analyze it. I'm not saying I wouldn't analyze it. But I live in God means that everything is that. Everything has those three letters, G-O-D. I learned in India, if you call God God, G-O-D is how it's spelled, and the G stands for the generator, the O stands for the observer, and the D stands for the destroyer. Because all things must eventually, physically, the physical forms must die, but we don't. We don't. The brain will die. If you've ever been in the presence of somebody who has passed away and you're there and you see the body, you immediately know they have vacated that body. It's vacated. And you see the difference for yourself, that what was there is no longer there. If you've ever moved out of a house, it's a similar feeling. Dissimilar, but it is similar. You could feel it. All that happened in the house that you lived in, all the feelings, all the things that went on in that house while you were there, they go with you. And the house is empty. Everything that you've ever thought, everything that you do, it goes with you when the house is empty. I say that so that you also even help yourself to know how important it is to help yourself, because you have this, you are part of what we call God. It's not just that there's a little, God lives inside of me. No. Inside of me, outside of me, above me, below me, all around me, in the good and bad as I see the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to tell you something. Recently, I was walking in my neighborhood and by myself. It's like I've just started to walk by myself without any assistance. And I was just walking around my block. I live in a little cul-de-sac. There I was walking, focusing on my balance, practicing my mantra. I live in God where all things are possible. I live in God where all things are possible. And suddenly, I hear somebody calling to me. Hey! I turn around and I see someone approaching me who is not in their right space. Not in their right space. It's a woman. It's 6:30 in the morning. She's in her bathrobe. She's not happy, and she's not happy with me. And she's coming towards me swiftly, purposefully, pointing her finger at me, shouting at me that I have her dog. This is somebody who doesn't know peace. This is somebody who doesn't practice peace. And now they live in a mind that doesn't even know that peace exists. So I realized, oh dear, because I can't be touched. I can't fall over. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Not much. Not much. So she got really close to me. So I showed her, I said, hey, I'm an injured person. I need you to stand back. No, no. So we respond in those kinds of situations how we live. Peace has been something that's I've meditated on for I don't even know how long. And some of you know that I have a background in martial arts, 22 years. I know, grandma. Who would suspect? But I am in this. I'm not strong right now. What am I going to do? Doesn't mean that my mind isn't strong. Doesn't mean that my soul isn't strong. But my body is not strong. And when somebody is in the state that this particular person was in, it's all about causing harm because they hurt so bad. Mental illness like that can make people so hurt that it can make them lash out in a very harmful way to cause pain, which matches or mirrors the pain that they feel towards their own self or about their own self. So I began to walk away with this person following me right next to me. And the interesting thing is, at this point, she could have touched me, she could have overtaken me, but she didn't. I have my hands close to my side and I just walked like this. I would even go, stay there. No, but she persisted. She was even carrying a bag with some things in it that I'm sure she thought she would swing that around and hurt somebody with. So what happened was, a car comes driving down my street and I just flagged it down. And I said, help me. Mhm. Because that was what was best for me and her. Help me. Come to your own rescue in any way that you can. My martial arts training is training in the mind to cause no harm. Now, did you ever know that about martial arts? Martial arts does not teach you to be violent. It teaches you to learn to have control over your own self. Eventually, in martial arts, you can like have such an energy that somebody won't touch you. So this particular person got out of their car, this gentleman, and it just so happened, this is not random, it's karma. I like to always say that because everyone's like, well, that's random that this guy who has a background in, what do I want to say? Military? Specialized military. In a special kind of way, very advanced kind of way. Without touching her, she was never touched by me. She was never touched by him physically, but she was touched by both of our sense of quiet. And it diverted her away. And off she went, and off I went, and he came over and we chatted for a moment or two, and then we both did other things. I'll leave it at that. I use that as an example for you so that you know that at any time you can come up against any kind of a situation. Are you going to be there for you? We all have to learn to be there for ourselves. I'm 71. I'm in a back brace. I only had me. I had to find inside of me. Don't think I wasn't scared because I was. Of course. Who wouldn't be? A lady in her pink bathrobe at 6:30 in the morning running after you. That doesn't sound very scary, but you can't be knocked over. No, no. So you have to find your greatest strength, not your greatest weapon, your greatest strength. And that incident helped me to understand that my greatest strength is my faith, my practice of peace. That is my greatest strength. It's something she doesn't practice. And I don't say that disrespectfully. I'm just saying the amount of chaos that was going through her mind. There's no practice there, no awareness of what it feels like to have peace or to have faith. Everything that we think, and that's how often we think it in our life, produces a vibration inside of ourself, and it moves through us, and it affects our world. It made it so that there was like a cushion between her and I. I mean, she was right next to me and she did not touch me. And her whole thing was to touch me. But for some reason or another, it didn't occur to her to be able to do that, to follow through. So I say this to you, not because, oh, look what I did. No. No. To help to let you know the power of peace. To never look at it like, oh, okay, there's that hippie stuff, peace. It is hippie stuff, but it's so much more. The power of being able to create a calm mind. Now, I was shaking because it had my adrenaline going. But the practice runs on its own. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What was going on in her mind was going on its own. I wouldn't say she'd practiced to be like that, but she had repeated those kinds of thoughts for such a long time that it was actually moving through her as she was walking down the street towards me. She couldn't think peace. She couldn't think anything else because what she had been rehearsing, so to speak, what she'd been doing, her habit had been so wound up in ba, 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 that there was no other option for her to think any other thought but that thought. I've been practicing, and I will continue to practice peace, and that's strength. So I say this to you so you know inner strength is really what you want. It makes it so we don't think so much about weapons. This man who stopped to help me is a master of weapons, actually. But his greatest weapon in that moment was his peace, his inner strength. She was completely unharmed and untouched by either of us. So you see, I'm not saying don't protect yourself by practicing different things, but always remember what you're practicing is peace. That is going to protect you more than anything else. It has a vibration that we all want. But to cause harm to someone and think that you cause them harm, you hurt them, and then you say, I'm doing that for peace. No, that's not what that is. When we say we're fighting for peace, that's not what that is. Those two things don't go in the same sentence. Peace is a strength that is so strong, it doesn't need to fight. It isn't aggravation, it's peace. It's a strength. It's not a wilted flower. It's strength. It's inner strength. It keeps the mind strong and kind. In order to be kind, you have to have inner strength. It's very easy to go, I'm not giving them any money. My God. Yes, they're hungry, but they could work. Okay. It does take inner strength to feel compassion, to want to help, to want to uplift, to want to be good, to want to not ever cause harm. And that means to yourself first. So it moves through you out into the world. To practice peace requires surrendering our negativity. And it's hard because we have been taught that being negative, being like, being mean and being like this and being all hard, that's what it's all about. I don't know what that means. That's what it's all about. But it's everywhere. And no matter what our dilemma is, no matter what our situation is, if we can practice peace, if we can practice deeper faith, if we can practice, I live in God where all things are possible. On my little cul-de-sac that morning, it was possible to not be harmed by someone who really was filled with harmful thoughts. And no harm happened. It's important that we see the power, the empowerment of the practice of peace and surrender our feeling that violence somehow or another is a pathway to peace. Because it is not. This much violence. It's not peace, it's violence. Violence starts in the mind. It doesn't start in the fist. It doesn't start in the weapon. It starts in the mind. Violent thoughts start here, and it attracts it to us. But our counterbalance must be peace. And it's a practice, it's an inner strength. It's a quality of love. Love is not an emotion. It's a power, it's a force. It's who we are, it's what we're made up of. Practice peace within yourself. So when you have a habit that you're wanting to overcome, instead of focusing on how hard it is and how you can't do it and how you're just going to keep being harmed by it, that thought will continue to grow and grow and grow, and you can be very harmed by those kinds of thoughts. But when you put your focus on the opposite being peace, and there's other words that you can use too besides peace. But when you have something that really troubles you, a particular habit, if you help yourself to find a way to create an affirmation or a mantra for yourself, I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. No, you're not. I am peace. No, you're not. I'm at peace. I am peace. And you have compassion for yourself, and you even have a sense of humor about what you're doing. It will help you to embody that. And you'll begin to relax and come to your own rescue. And you will be able to overcome the habits, whatever they may be, that you think are actually taking away from your inner peace. Surrendering the negativity, letting go of it, It's not an easy thing. I just wish it were an easy thing, but it is not. But if we don't, we can become possessed by it, so to speak, and it can dominate in us. And we can actually harm another person, a person that we've never even met before. That possibility is alive and well anywhere. Anybody can become so upset inside that all they can see is their anger out there, a need to express that in some way. And yet, they are still a human being with peace inside of them, but they have forgotten that, or they've never known it in this life. And it's important that we learn to sense that so that we remove ourselves from individuals who are suffering in that way, but you can still pray for them because it matters. Because everything that you think emanates from your mind anyway. You could actually say that every day you're praying. If you're wishing something for somebody else, you're putting that out there, and it will affect them. It does. We have to find a way to look in the inner life more instead of always wanting just to change the outer, what it looks like. It's hard because we live in these bodies that are so magnificently developed over time. But they are impermanent. They are our house for right now. We live in them, and to remember the occupant more than the house. I'm not saying don't take care of your body, not at all. But I'm saying, why would you put all your energy into only caring for your body, but not your mind, the quality of your mind? We have all kinds of vitamins and exercises, and we have gyms. All of that's great. So we have these healthy bodies with unhealthy minds. So why not practice peace while you're working out? Maybe you get on the treadmill. You can do your affirmations while you're on the treadmill. Otherwise, your mind might go to all kinds of things that are really hard or really not very, or distasteful. You can practice upgrading your mind at any time of the day, doing inner exercises. Watch what you read, where you put your energy. I'm a practitioner. That's all. I'm just older now, so I have years behind me. That's all I'm saying here. There's nothing in me that's like, let me be your teacher. No. The way that I've been taught about teaching spirituality is to always use yourself as a reference. So then that keeps you from pretending to be something that you're not. You don't mislead people this way. So I share things with you about my practice, about my own humanity, so that you can see for yourself, I'm just a girl, a woman, an older woman who practices. That's all. And sharing with you the experiences of how it changes my life. It's enhanced my life so much better. I'd much rather be 71 and practice than to be in my 20s and not have a practice yet. Oh my God, life was hard then. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. To be this sensitive and not have a practice, ew, I can recall that pain just like that. So I was definitely like, I've got to find a way out of this. I can't live the rest of my life with this level of anxiety. No. And that's what we're all wanting to do, is to find a better quality of our inner life. It's just that we think that it's in the body. So care for your body, of course. That's why we say it's a temple, but it's what happens in the temple that matters. A temple is a building. The body is a temple. Yes, it's a building. So pray in there. Meditate in there. Do all the things that you do in a temple inside of your temple, even if it's temporarily closed for business. Reconstruction, I should say. Practice what you would practice in a temple inside of your own self, so that you become stronger in your mind, stronger in anything that you do, strong enough to be peaceful. Really, it's really important. So here I am going through all these interesting things that are not what I was expecting. But I say this to you so that you remember that you too are going through a lot of interesting things that you probably haven't expected either. This is happening to me and I'm 40 years old. This is happening to me and I'm 30 years old. Okay. So take a breath, take a moment. Remember to counterbalance your pain. Remember, practice. How is this going to feel when it all works out? It's going to feel like this. It's going to feel like I can breathe easier. So I'm going to practice breathing easier now so that I can bring it into being. I'm going to practice breathing in now, how it will feel when it all works out. So when it does all work out, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. It can come in me and be with me in a stronger way than if I'm not really ready for it. Allow yourself to surrender our attachment to a perceived outcome. And let us practice what you really want, which is the feeling that you're chasing in those desires. You're really wanting the feeling of how it will be when it all works out. You might think you want this, and you might think you want that, and you might think you want this, you might want that. I'm not saying that you won't get it or that it's bad to want it, but why not cultivate the feeling of what it was going to bring you now, to ensure that it has a place, and when it comes to you, you're really ready for it. And it just keeps you in that place of great joy, great peace, great balance. So I just want to leave you considering to practice quiet, to practice peace, and know that it's a practice. Be committed to it because you want to be committed to that feeling of great joy inside of yourself. I just want to say to you that when you see me get all welled up and I get, these are, this is my honest self. It's my true self that I'm showing you. It's happening already. In, uh, in Hinduism, it's called bhakti. So bhakti tears of devotion. Sometimes when I speak about the word God, it makes that happen. And it happens to all of us. So remember, for the month of March, practice surrendering, letting go, practicing opening up to intuition, not trying to figure everything out. Right? Try that. Don't try to figure everything out. Let yourself also intuit what's happening to you and those around you. Remember to send peace to the world. We all know we need it. There's so many people who are hurting in their minds. They're mentally distressed as well as in their bodies. So know that because you're practicing it, you have extra to send to others. So at the end of your practice, remember to offer out all that we have done to help alleviate the suffering of all sentient beings. Peace be with you. Right? Let us together to tie our package in a bow. Om. 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 Perfect. Right. Ruby's reminding me of the spring equinox before you go. We are going to be having a spring equinox celebration on Saturday. Is it the 20th or 21st? On Saturday, the 21st, and you'll be getting an invite to that. If you could come, we would love to have you there and make an event to start our year off with practicing peace, practicing it together. Okay, we'd love to have you there. Remember that Mercury is retrograde right now in the sign of Pisces, so it's not easy. It's going to be retrograde all the way through to the 25th, I think, of March. So that's a time when there's a little bit more where there can be more little accidents, accidents of the slip of the tongue, an accident in the sense of uh, not seeing things properly. It's a time of repetition, of going into the past, and a time of redo. So be careful, okay? Be careful with yourself, with your mind. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with me and practicing with me today. Peace be with you.